okay. So since there's been lots of sort of reductions in public outings, gyms can't have as many people in them. Some PT studios have reduced their class sizes, etc. Some people are really starting to buy some gym equipment for home, and as you know, I've done that for years. I've got probably one of the best gyms in Australia, so I have a lot of knowledge on this sort of stuff, and I thought I'd make a video to give you all some advice so you can make the best decision on what to buy. I'm pretty well experienced in training myself at home and some clients, like my mate Bo. He's in Queensland, he's lost a lot of weight. I'll put a picture up of him. At home, he's only got 2 adjustable dumbbells. He's got, I believe, only 1 or 2 kettlebells and a treadmill. And we just use the treadmill for, you know, a bit of interval training for doing high output cardio mixed with basic strength exercises. You know, if you've got a skipping rope, for example, instead, or you can just do some knee-high running on the spot, same sort of energy system you're using to burn weight. So you don't really need a treadmill. Just get a skipping rope or just run on the spot for as long as you can, and you're going to get your heart rate up, get the same effect. He's had good results for the non-stop since he started training with me in January. So it's pretty easy to, you know, get the results you want training at home. You know, and Christina in Romania, she's just been in quarantine because she flew overseas. So previously I was programming her to exercise in a gym, full commercial gym, got the lat pull down machines and kettlebells and dumbbells to do the squats and deadlifts, and now we've changed to just an at-home workout. And on her first session she said, you know, how much DOMS she had just straight away. So yeah, a good coach, but what I'm trying to say to you is a good coach can adjust, you know, the workout, the intensity, the tempo, the rest periods to get the good adaptations and stimulus that you need to progress, lose weight, get stronger, whatever it is. Because what I'm trying to get to here is that I've had people contacting me to buy some gym equipment. I've got a couple of bars for sale, a bow bar and then an Olympic EliteFTS. You know, one I'm selling for $700. So people ask me how much it is, I tell them the price, and they say it's too much for what they want because they're just trying to get a basic home gym set up so they can get by in the meantime. And I just tell these people, well, look, don't worry about buying a barbell and weights, just buy a couple kettlebells, some bands. You don't need to spend more than $100 at all, and you can get by. And then these people tell me that they, you know, I offer them to help them out with my services and show them the results, and they tell me they've already getting programming from someone. And if you're paying someone to give you an exercise program or something, if they're just sending you an Excel sheet in your email and that's it, you know, if you're paying for a service, then tell them, hey, this is all I've got at home. I've only got a kettlebell dumbbell, and you figure out how you're going to get me to get the results, because that's what you're paying them for. So, you know, speak up against your trainers. Well, not against them, but tell them your limitations. And if they're a professional and smart, good trainer, they'll be able to know how to train you correctly anyway, and, you know, modify things, modify the volume, workload, intensity by changing the parameters you're working with. So if you're just used to doing, say you're a woman who likes doing barbell hip thrusts and you're up to like 170 kilograms, this one woman told me, you know, you don't need to buy a barbell on 170 kilograms of weight to keep progressing. You can just change the parameters, like what's your rest period and what's your volume at. Change it to time-based goals and other sorts of things. But that's up to her coach or your coach to give you a program that's going to get you results. If they can't change the method to get the end result, then they're not a very good coach in the first place, and, you know, you can probably do better Anyway, it's not just trying to slag on other people there, but really if you're paying someone, then get them to help you out. They should be smart enough to do this. It's pretty basic. I'm not the best trainer in the world, and yeah. So anyway, we're going to get into what this whole little chart is here. So I've sort of broken it down into these fundamental sort of movements. Well, arms ain't really fundamental, but it's there for the sake of it, okay? So we've got a squat pattern, deadlift pattern. It should be sort of deadlift slash hip hinge sort of pattern there, because they're pretty interchangeable to target the same sort of quality or muscle groups. Hinge also will be including hamstring movements, because that's a bit interconnected there, same sort of musculature. Then we have vertical push-pull. So what that means is vertical push is like an overhead press, training your shoulders. Vertical pull is like a lat pull down, so you're pulling down in the vertical plane. Next we have the horizontal push-pull. Horizontal push is like a barbell bench press, chest press, push-up. Horizontal pull being like a seated row or a bent over dumbbell row, anything where you're pulling horizontally motion. Abs, there's many ways to train abs. Arms, just so that's in there, and a carry movement. So we're going to look at all the types of equipment and what they can cover in the movements, because I think this is the best way to break down how useful they all are and how you can use them, or choose one or two bits of equipment to sort of cover what you want for your goals. Generally I would want to cover everything if possible, which most of them can anyway. So let's start with the TRX. These probably cost between maybe 60 to 150 Australian dollars, depending if you get the genuine TRX brand product, or if it's second hand, or if it's a knockoff from eBay. If you're a heavier person, say over 150 kilograms, I would definitely recommend to get the genuine product, because it's going to be better quality and more durable. If you're, under 90 kilograms, you can probably get by fine with the really cheaper sort of ones there. But anyway, now squat pattern with the TRX, you can do a squat pattern fine. As I'm going to be talking through this, I'll have videos running demonstrating all these movements here, so you can just see just a few examples. I've only got a few hours to make this video, so a few reps may not be perfect, so don't give me shit for that. I don't have 12 hours to spend right now on this video. I want to sort of just get it out there so you can see the versatility of all this equipment. Okay, so TRX, we can do a squat movement there to train your legs. I can't think of any way to do any deadlift movements, but there's very, very effective ways to do hip hinge movements, such as a hamstring curl. Mix that in with a glute bridge, and you're going to be training very much the same musculature as a deadlift anyway, and it feels great. There's so many variations there. You've got the vertical push. I'll put an X there. I can't think of a way very effective to do a vertical push, but we can do vertical pulls with the TRX. You can do a pull-up, very easy, and you can modify the resistance of that by where your feet are. If your feet are on the ground, or if you're hanging, then obviously it's just a body weight movement. Horizontal push, you can put your feet in there, do a push-up. You can do like a chest fly or somewhat like that, and depending where your feet is, you can sort of modify the weight on that. And horizontal pull, TRXs are great for horizontal pulls. You can do reverse flies, you can have your elbows out, do rear delt sort of rows. You can turn the handles around and get really good contractions for your lats as well. Abs, you can train abs with them by putting your feet in the handles and doing a plank. You can do a side plank, a front plank. You can, you know, tuck your knees in. There's so many ways you can modify, you know, just body weight movements to train your abs, make it even harder actually. And actually it's pretty good for training arms too. You can do like tricep extension, skull crusher sort of movements, and you can just do bicep curl for your body weight, and again just move where you're standing to change the load. There's no sort of way you can use a TRX for a carry exercise apart from just carrying at home, I guess, but they weigh almost nothing, so that's not applicable. Next we'll move on to the kettlebell. Kettlebell squat, tick there, very simple. You can do a goblet squat. Deadlift, yeah, you can do a conventional deadlift. You can do a sumo deadlift with a kettlebell. So that movement is ticked off. And hinge, I've got 3 ticks here for hinge movements because that's the sort of gold part of the kettlebells, doing kettlebell swings. And you can do a kettlebell swing to a clean or a snatch, and so many things there. Now vertical push, you can just do a simple overhead press with a kettlebell. Push press, you can do a clean and press. I can't think of a way to do a vertical pull. That's very effective, just having one piece of equipment, unless you've got gravity boots. Horizontal push, very easy. You can lay on the ground, push the kettlebell away. You've got a horizontal push there to train your chest. So that's like a floor press sort of movement. If you haven't got a bench press at home, you can also do a push up on a kettlebell, either one hand or 2 hands on kettlebells. You know, if you're doing one hand kettlebell, just alternate sides depending on your program, if it's reps or timed or rounds or whatever it is, and you'll get a bit of an extra stretch there on one side at a time. Maybe a horizontal pull, obviously is the bent over row, very easy there. Abs, now I've used kettlebells before doing side bends. You can do that. Any other ab exercise you can think of that requires loading. There's one I got from George Lehman where he lays on a bench and he braces against a kettlebell or dumbbell. You know, it's very simple way, just adding resistance there against expanding your abs out. Arms, you can easily do bicep curls and tricep extensions, you know, tricep kickbacks or overhead extensions, and carries, then they're great. Just walk down the street 100 meters in one arm with a kettlebell, walk back home with the kettlebell in your other arm, and you're going to be training your carry movement very effectively. Just modify the time or distance depending on your endurance for your abs and your lower back, and you'll train that very well. Now next we got the dumbbell. I haven't got any adjustable dumbbells here. I used to have them when I had my first home gym. Very, very efficient because you can have 2 handles. You can have, you know, 4 to 8 5 kilograms plates, another 4 2.5 kilogram plates, and you've got quite a lot of different weight loads you can choose in itself. With that you can be doing squats, you can be doing dumbbell deadlifts, sumo and conventional, and you can also use dumbbells to load your hip hinge movements or hamstring movements like a glute bridge, an RDL, etc. Vertical push, obviously dumbbell press, standing or seating. That's very simple to do. I can't think of a way to do a vertical pull with a dumbbell besides wearing gravity boots again, being upside down like a bat. Horizontal push, just do a floor press, or if you've got a bench or something else to lay on, that's fine. You're going to be, you know, using the same muscles to keep them from, you know, getting weak and shrinking or whatever. Or you can do a push up putting your hand on a handle to get an extra stretch. You can also, and horizontal pull, bent over dumbbell row, very simple. You can also mix them together doing a push up. If you've got 2 hex-shaped dumbbells, you can do push-ups, and you can superset with a what's the exercise called? A renegade row. That's a very effective way to get in a push-pull movement with the same piece of equipment at home. Abs, same as the kettlebell. You can do side bends with them. There's probably a few ideas I'll think of in a second when I do the video, but that's just one example there. Arms, don't need to say any more than that. You can train your arms on dumbbells, and carries the same as the kettlebell. You can just walk down your driveway for time or for distance. Whether you've got two or you've got one, one's really good because you can target one side of your body to work at a time. That's how I prefer to do them. Now, bands. Bands have got ticks across the whole board apart from carries. Now, bands, it's a bit tricky to program resistance with bands. You can sort of just, because they change the resistance throughout the movements, and depends on the thickness of the band you've got, they'll change how much resistance you've got in the band as well. So programming can be a little sort of testing the waters at first to see how you go with that in regards to how many reps you need to do or the setup you do. So I'm going to be showing a few examples of that. Now, there's a few different size bands. The biggest one is the 41, 42 inch size band, the Powerbands. There's ones that are 12 inches long, which you use around your hips usually for, you can use them for just goblet squats, you can use them for side clams, use them for abduction movements, or just sideways walking, crab walks. So anyway, I'll show you some videos of me doing a banded squat. You could have the band around your neck, you can hold the bands in front of you like a goblet squat. You can put the bands, hold a handle in the bands. You can do banded deadlifts, sumo or conventional. If you're doing a sumo, you're standing within the band and you're holding the band, either just one part or two parts of it. If you're doing conventional, you're standing on top of the bands in the middle and you're holding each end of it to stand up and pull that. And you can change the resistance by simply holding the band in different spots closer to your feet or further away from your feet if you need to, or you can use multiple bands at the same time if you're really, really strong. Hip hinge, so you can do glute bridges, holding the band down to the ground, the band over your hips, and you've got resistance there for your glute bridge or RDLs. You could even have the band just behind you at a post and just do a hip hinge like that. That's a very simple way to add load there for your glutes, posterior chain. Now, vertical push. Put a band around your feet and just push the band up in the air and you're training your shoulders. Vertical push, that's done. Vertical pull. So your bands are very good for this. You can put a band over put it through I've gone blank right now. Like a cross member in a shed. If you've got a shed or you've got a pergola or something like that, or a clothesline, put a band over it and you can pull down, you've got a vertical pull. There's other bands that have attachments that go on doors as well. So if you have one of those, you can put it in your door. Now if the band is really long, you don't need to be standing to do this. You can be letting your body into it. So the angle creates a vertical pull. If you're hip hinging down and your body's on a forward angle, or you can kneel down and do the same thing. What else we got? Horizontal push. So you can do a push up with the band behind your back. You can have the band from behind you and just do a single arm push, or the band completely behind you and push both arms at the same time. You can do chest flies with band. Horizontal pull, so you can stand on a band and you can just row row the band into you, one arm at a time, two arms at a time, or you can put a band around a pole and just start pulling it, or around your feet, and just sit down on the ground, legs straight, and just pull the band into you, and just grab the band closer to your feet if you need to add more resistance. You don't need to hold them right at the very end. Okay, just sort of modify that to get a feel for the rep range you're working in, if you can get the right amounts of resistance, and then you're set. Bands for abs, same with the kettlebell or dumbbell, you can be doing your side bands with them. A very good one would be doing a pull-off press. Just have the band at shoulder level, pull it away from you. So stand away from the point where it's anchored at and just push the band away while keeping your torso from rotating, and you'll train your abs to not rotate, or twist I should say. Arms. Bands are very good for training your triceps. Put a band up high or behind your head. You can do just standing tricep extensions going down, or over the head extensions, or even a tricep kickback movement, and you can modify it using single arm, double arm, and holding the band wherever you need to make it heavier or lighter. And arms, obviously just stand on the band and just pull those fuckers up and get your arms pumping. You can't really do any carries of bands. Yeah, not really useful there. Now, let me just drink some water because I've been talking for 23 minutes straight. This is 2.2 litres. You should be drinking that plus another maybe a litre every day, so that's a good way to sort of know you're drinking enough water. Just fill one of these up every day and drink it. That tip's for free. And so is this next one. You can use a office swivel chair for exercising. If you know how to use them, they are actually great. Squats, yeah, if you are a elderly person, you can easily get an effective workout by doing box squats to a chair. So there's a tick for that. You can't really deadlift with a chair. Hinge movement, 3 ticks. Same as the TRX. You can put your feet on there and the chair moves back and forth. You can do glute bridges, you can train your hamstrings, and it's really amazing. I've done it before and it works some great. So if you've got a swivel chair at home, let me know, especially if you're a client of mine, let me know. I will definitely be programming that in your workout to be doing glute bridges and hamstring curls on that, and you'll love it. You'll actually hate it. Vertical push, vertical pull, I can't really see anything that's beneficial with a chair. I mean, you can actually, sorry, wrong one. Horizontal push, horizontal pull. You can do a horizontal push on a chair because you can change the height of the chair, which is going to change the resistance. If you're doing a push-up, the higher it is, the lighter resistance there is, the lower the chair is, the heavier the resistance. Pull, I can't think of any pull movements with a chair. Abs, now you can be doing planks on a chair, you can be having your feet on the chair and tucking your knees up. You could even do like ab rollouts with a chair, just simple as that, because the chair moves, yeah? So be creative. You've got the feet on the chair, you can use that, and we've all got chairs. This costs you nothing, just start doing it. Arms. I just thought of an arm movement actually, and I just forgot it. What was it? Yeah, so that's getting a big tick now. Dips. You can do dips on a chair, bloody oath. Hands behind you, feet on the ground, and just start doing dips. You can have your feet up higher on something else to have more load. You could also use a windowsill. When I first had my first home gym, I was doing dips on the windowsill all the time. It was great. So yeah, you can easily do dips at home with a chair, with a table, anything sturdy, a windowsill. Put your feet on your chair, and there you go. Carry, if you want, you can just carry a chair around. Now, exercise bull. So the swivel chair and exercise bull, sort of very similar. You could, because they're just objects that you can place your hands or feet on, and they just move around. You know, so hinge movements is exactly the same as a swivel chair. You can do your glute bridges, you can do your hamstring curls, you can combine the glute bridge and hamstring curls together, and it's phenomenal exercise there. You can do double leg, single leg, whatever. So that alone, there's so many variations that can be adjusted, so you've always got progression for the however many weeks you're stuck at home that your gym's closed down on, or if you're just stuck at home because you're coming from overseas, then fear not, you can get some results from that. A vertical push-pull, not really anything practical there in regards to an exercise ball. Horizontal push, you can have your feet on the exercise ball, you can do push-ups, have your hands on the exercise ball, do push-ups. You can combine that with, if your feet are on the ball, you can do a push-up and tuck your knees in, or another ab exercise could be a side plank on the ball, or a stir the pot movement, which you could do with a chair as well, actually. Many ways to train your abs with that piece of equipment. Arms, I can't think of a way to train your arms on exercise ball. Dips, I would not advise doing them. If the ball moves around and you fall down and your hands are behind you, it can be pretty ugly. So don't do your dips on the exercise ball. Unless, I mean, you could put your feet on there, I guess, if you need to elevate yourself for more weight instead of doing more reps, but I'll just modify the reps, to be honest with you. Carry, they're not very good for carries. So what else have I got down here? I've just got, you know, body weight cardio. So as I was saying, a good way to program a good home exercise routine is by mixing in some sort of cardio that will get your heart rate up, and then like a circuit doing that, and then followed by any one of these sort of exercises. That's what I get Boy doing at the moment, and he's loving it. He's just on the treadmill for 30 seconds and then just doing some push-ups or some rows. And if you haven't got a treadmill, get a skipping rope and just start skipping. If you're not extremely fit, you'll find that will get your heart rate up a lot, and or even just doing knee-high running or something similar. As long as it gets the same effect, your heart rate gets up, then you can, you know, build yourself a very effective circuit by just doing any one of these bits of cardio and just doing like a squat, then a push, then a pull, and then some arms or something like that, and there's your workout. And you can, so if you've got a skipping rope and one kettlebell, you've got many ways you can train yourself. Also a good thing with having a combination of this equipment is if you got bands, you can use the bands to increase the resistance of your kettlebell for doing your squat or deadlift, for example. You can have the band run through the kettlebell handle, and so you've got the standard, say you've got a 12 kilogram kettlebell, you've got your 12 kilograms at the bottom of the movement, and it'll go up heavier on the top, because sometimes with band movements they start off at a very, very low number or zero and will increase to say 10 kilograms, so not a very static sort of moderate load through the whole movement. So you can sort of modify that to get a better contraction and get some more, you know, more hypertrophy sort of results or strength gains. Obviously, if you're used to using barbell movements for heavy squats, deadlifts and bench press, if you're a powerlifter, you're not going to be getting a workout that can, you know, increase your total here, but the best thing you can do is just work on something that's going to keep you moving, keep you fit, and so once gyms are back open, you can just go back into it and train like that again. So it's just making the best of a bad situation, you know. And if your goal isn't to be a glute bridge world record holder, then do you need the 170 kilograms of weights on a barbell for your glute bridges? I would say you do not need that at all. You just need a kettlebell, and maybe you put a band around your hips behind you, or put the band through the kettlebell doing your kettlebell swings, and you've got a lot of resistance there for your glutes to be working hard. Do that for 2 minutes and 20 seconds rest, and tell me how your glutes going if you need to have 170 kilograms. I bet the answer is you don't, because it just comes down to changing the parameters so that your workouts are effective. I'll go over to my power rack in a second, and I'll go through bands, because there's so many variations of power bands and resistance bands on the markets. So I'll do some measurements with those to show you the resistance you can get from some of them. Hopefully so far this is helping you to make a decision on what sort of equipment to buy, giving you some ideas for yourself to, you know, keep moving and keep training yourself at home. And yeah, obviously if you do need a hand or want some programming done and you've just got some basic equipment, hit me up. So I just spent about 20 minutes going through all the exercises using a TRX, kettlebell, dumbbell, bands, office chair, exercise ball, and I'm already sweating, so yeah. So what I'll do now is I'll go through these bands with you. I've got 3 different types. I've got these bands. They're mini micro bands or power bands. These are 12 inches long. To be honest with you, I've never used them. They're pretty useless. These ones I use all the time for my glute warm-ups. This is a Mark Bell slingshot. These are different resistance size bands from Ironedge. Extra heavy, medium, and light. This one would be good for any scapular sort of prehab work, activating your scapula. I'd normally just use this or this one for all my glute exercises. And if you're a beginner, you can get away with like a medium one pretty easy and you'll be fine. Also, these sort of TheraBands are very useful. They're very light. I'll show you now a few things I can do. You can just train your lats and scapula, so we're holding isometrics there. External rotation. You could even do like a torch press. So holding the band there and doing a torch press like that, pretty easy. They're super cheap. These little bands, you can just cut them and tie them up to whatever length you need. Now, these bands are very handy. So these have little clips on either end. Got a little handle here. This can go in a door frame. So you put it in the door, close the door, and it won't pull through. So you can set up a high point for lat pull downs, tricep extensions, or you could put it down a solid door maybe if it stays there and do horizontal rows. They're very handy. I'll do a few exercises with these ones. So that's a pretty horizontal position. Row. You can combine bands. So I can do 3 bands here. It's very tough. You drop one. That's pretty good contraction there. You don't need to always use the handles, you know, if it's too far away, just sort of grab it wherever's a little better. So the further you grab it up, the heavier it's going to be. The further away, the lighter it's going to be. You can even just do triceps from here, like so. Do your pull-off press. Should be standing for that really. These ones, quite honest, good for doing your squats and deadlifts, as these thicker bands down here, the Powerbands. But these would be great for your horizontal, vertical, push-pull, abs, arms. So let's go to these heavy bands here. Right, let me get this chaos in order. What's going on here? There we go. Now, these are all different thickness, all these bands. These tiny pink coloured ones, they are somewhere between 0.3, 0.4 millimeter thick. These orange ones here are 0.6 to 0.7 millimeters thick, so it's almost double the size of this one. Yellow one I've got here, about 1.3 meters, so 1.3 millimeters thick, just almost a centimeter and a half. This orange one is about 2 centimeters thick there. The red one is 3 centimeters, and this big blue one is 4.5 centimeters thick. This is very useless for anything except for squats and deadlifts and helping you do a pull-up. You will not ever use this for training your arms or your rear delts unless you're 130 kilograms and absolutely jacked off some good jailhouse tuna, as Carly Muscle claims he uses. I'd be using, it's a lot easier with these bands to add resistance by simply shortening where you're holding it, or putting the slack of the band in between your feet for a squat or deadlift, so there's less band length that you're pulling on, whichever exercise you're doing. So it's always best to go lighter than you think you need to, and modifying the load by where you're holding the band or where you're standing on it. So I would, for anyone, get one of these two here. They're good for everything, warming up, all your smaller things like your triceps, biceps, your scapular, rear delt, face pulls, things like that. This one is pretty good for triceps, biceps as well, especially for things like good mornings or squats. You can put them around your neck, or stand on it and do RDLs, deadlifts, warming up with that, high reps. When you get onto these two, you're starting to get onto quite a lot of load there. If I had my little fish scales, I would actually measure, give you a kilogram sort of idea. With this big blue one, when I'm standing on that, doing like a sumo deadlift, it feels like I'm deadlifting about 100 kilograms, just to give you an idea of how quickly these add load when you're using them for those sort of exercises there. So it's always easier to sort of go a little lighter. And if you got, even the red one, orange one, yellow one, you can easily just add a couple, do red plus yellow or red plus orange to make an exercise a little heavier. When I was doing banded good mornings pretty frequently, I would combine bands. I would do like 1 red, 2 oranges, or sounds like I'm eating fruit, or do a blue, then a couple of reds, or whatever it is. You don't really add loads of these ones on for those bigger ones, just sort of combine the heavier ones. But that's if you're, if you're very strong in the gym and you're doing good mornings over 100 kilograms, and cool, get a couple of these, and you've got those compound exercises covered really well. With these ones, Ironedge have these handles where you put a handle on there and you can just pull. That's so small that the resistance will increase so fast. So if I stand on this one here, I mean, it's not too bad. It's a good contraction. Feels like I've got about 30 kilograms in my hand. That's the thinnest one I've got. It's just not very versatile as compared to getting one of these. Now this is a thicker one I've got. It's a red one. Same thickness as that. Yep, same thick. So this is 3 centimeters thick, 12 inches long. It's as thick as a Powerband. So even though this is 12 inches, it's not the same 12 inches as these bands here. These are very thin rubber and material for doing glute work and stuff like that. So this red one around my foot here, just doing a deadlift. That is, sorry, the video interrupted. So doing this in my foot, it feels like about, I'll just say 60 kilograms resistance around that. So, and because of how short it is, you can't really make it lighter. So again, it's easier to get a lighter band and just holding it differently. Like if you put a little carabiner here on a handle or just hold it here, it's gonna be very different resistance. It's very easier to increase resistance. Which way is this video going? It's gonna look horrible. I don't know. So go lighter instead of going heavier with those bands. So, you know, you could easily get by with just, 2 heavy ones for your squats and deadlifts and 1 light one. You can easily double up the bands for single arm triceps or biceps, and one of these will get you through. Just a medium one. You don't need to really go heavy with that. These, I don't really know the resistance of those. Just easy to manage because they're so long, you can easily double the resistance by just holding it halfway up. You get what I'm saying? So I hope this video helps in deciding what to buy. I would definitely suggest a variation. Just get 3 bands, which may set you back about $40, $50, and just get a pair of light adjustable dumbbells or 1 or 2 kettlebells, 8 kilo, 16, 24, one of those, and you're pretty much set to train your whole body and at least be doing something while gyms are closed. And yeah, so if you like the video, let me know. If there's any exercise you want me to go over, just send me a message and I'll be happy to help you. If you want to try out my programming for any of these sort of home workouts, then just let me know and we can sort you out.